Hello everyone, you can call me Doc, and now that Marvel Rivals Season 1 has been out for a few days, I want to make a quick video going over the new patch, heroes, and map from the eyes of a Strategist main. Please keep in mind that as we jump into this, I'm not the most amazing Marvel Rivals player in the world. I'm certainly not, top 500, but hopefully I can still provide some value with a unique perspective. Okay, let's start by talking about the patch notes, and I think it's fitting that we start out with our Strategists. So up first we have Cloak and Dagger. So Cloak and Dagger got a buff to Dagger Storm, reducing its cooldown, which is nice. However, the notable change is the extra dash in their ultimate, which I think is pretty huge for them. Is it enough to push the needle and change their pick rate a whole bunch? Maybe, probably not. When the game first launched, I honestly really thought Cloak and Dagger was going to be like the top tier strategist pick because of their utility. And while that utility is still pretty great, I just really don't think it's enough to compete with the raw healing output of some of the other heroes. Jeff the Land Shark is up next, and he got a nerf to his ultimate, making it so that he can't just snatch people out of the air like they're little mosquitoes quite as easily. He did get a buff to his main heal though, raising it from 140 healing per second to 150. I think the heroes with a lot of verticality will definitely notice the change to his ult, people like Iron Man. But I don't think most of the cast will really see too much of a difference. The healing per second, though, is definitely noticeable and feels pretty nice. Though I will say that Jeff already had pretty solid healing output, in my opinion, and his survivability is solid. Where he tends to lack is his ability to provide some utility to the group. So, I don't think that it's really going to move the needle for him much either, but I still love that little guy. I love him. Luna Snow got a nerf, quote-unquote, to her ultimate, making it so that she has to wait longer to switch between healing and damage. I view it more as a fix because the whole using the scroll wheel to get the benefits of both wasn't really intended for her ultimate to function that way to begin with. If you weren't using that, then you probably will not really notice a change at all. Her and Namor's team up did get a buff though, which was a straight up buff to nearly everything about Frozen Spawn. And while I don't see a whole lot of Namors in game, it is something to keep in mind if you do encounter one. Mantis got a nerf to her passive that allows her to move faster. This one was definitely noticeable, and I think it's going to sting a little bit for my Mantis mains out there. However, I do kind of understand, as Mantis is a fantastic pick, and really good Mantis mains can be devastating if they're able to use that movement speed to get the drop on you. Overall, though, I think she's still going to be a very common pick. I just don't think she's going to be able to take off angles quite as easily. And lastly, for our strategist, Rocket Raccoon got a buff to his healing per second, increasing it from 60 to 70. Now, I gotta say, I didn't think it would be super noticeable, but I'll be honest with y'all, he feels much better to play than he did. Rocket kind of had the opposite problem of Jeff, which was that Rocket had great utility, but lacked the healing output that some of the other heroes had. Speaking of utility, he also got a buff to his team up with Winter Soldier and Punisher, reducing the cooldown of ammo invention from 45 to 40 seconds. While I don't think these changes are enough to make him, some top tier strategist, I do definitely think that he will be more enjoyable to play, and I will personally be playing him a little bit more. Okay, so for our Vanguards, Captain America, Thor, and Venom got some noticeable buffs. Cap was already pretty hard to take down, even without the help of a strategist. I'm not sure how amazing the changes will be in practice, but I would definitely anticipate seeing more of him in the coming weeks. The biggest thing for Thor is that he gained CC immunity while in his ult, meaning my Luna Snow mains out there, I wouldn't worry about trying to snowball him out of his ult anymore, though I don't think that many strategists were really the ones who were hitting him with CC, just something to keep in mind. Venom was already someone the backline needed to watch out for, and he did get a buff to his survivability and ultimate damage. I don't think the buffs will change his pick rate much, but I do expect that Venoms will feel more emboldened to jump on strategists, so, watch your back out there. Hulk got a nerf to his survivability, meaning he might require a little more of your resources, so be nice to your friendly little Hulk main, however many of you there are out there. Doctor Strange got a change that made him do a little less damage, but he is a little tankier, so he may actually require a little less of your resources. For our duelist, there were many notable changes. This will kind of be the bulk of the video. Black Panther got a nerf to his survivability, meaning he is still a threat to the backline, but he is able to be punished a bit easier. Black Widow got some buffs. However, I'll be honest with y'all, I genuinely have not played against enough Black Widows to say for certain what this means for us strategists. Hawkeye is now a little bit less dangerous at medium to long range, but a bit more dangerous at close range. I think this will be nice for the backline, but still make sure to keep an eye on your Vanguard if they do try to dive him. Hela got a slight nerf, nothing too crazy. I still think she's going to be really oppressive, so, just take cover. Magic got a buff to her ultimate, but I haven't really noticed too much of a difference that I would be trying to counterpick her. Moon Knight got a buff to his ult, and I can say for certain that I've definitely noticed it. You have a bit less wiggle room to react, and he loves dropping it on the backline, so my strategists out there, be mindful when Moon Knight is around. Namor got a slight buff, and I don't think it'll move the needle too much, but like I mentioned earlier, he and Luna Snow are a pretty solid team up now, so, it'd be worth going Luna Snow if you happen to see a Namor. Psylocke's ult is now affected by barriers, so stay close to your Vanguard if you see a Psylocke rushing you. I don't know if you'll live. I'll be honest, I don't think that it's going to make a difference for you, but you may have a better chance if you're able to get behind some sort of shield. Punisher got a slight buff. Not much there. Scarlet Witch got a change that's supposed to make her able to fight Strategist and other duelists more reliably, while not being able to fight Vanguards as much. I haven't personally noticed much of a change, though I also haven't seen a whole lot of Wanda this season, so we'll kind of see how that goes in practice. Storm got a huge buff, and I think in the neutral game, you still don't have to be too concerned about her as a strategist. However, in a team fight setting, and especially whenever she pops ult, she is devastating for the backline. So try to keep your distance from her. Squirrel Girl got a buff to her ultimate, which gave it some tracking. I just keep an eye out for if they target you or not, though if you've got some verticality like Rocket, you should be okay. Winter Soldier got a change that decreases his performance at long range, but increases it at close range. This means that Bucky is likely to play a little closer to his enemies than previously, and you should try to be mindful that this also means he can be a menace with a little bit of help from you. Finally, Wolverine got a change, and I don't really think it'll make a huge difference. He's a bit more punishable now, but he also does more damage, so I just try not to get caught in his crowd control, and you should be okay. Okay, I know that was a lot to cover, but hopefully it all made sense. Next, I'd like to talk about the new maps. Sanctum Sanctorum, I think. I don't know. And Midtown. I don't have too strong of an opinion on the maps. They're definitely pretty to look at in a macabre sort of way. In terms of playing them, I enjoy them. I've encountered some really cool team fights, and because the maps have so many tight chokes, I had a blast with heroes like Rocket and Luna. Finally, let's talk about the new heroes. First, we'll start with Mr. Fantastic, as he's not really the focus of this section. He seems fine. I don't want to say he's undertuned, but it feels like his numbers are maybe a little backwards. He feels more like a Vanguard than a duelist. Granted, strategists don't do a ton of damage, but even then, he definitely is giving off some tank vibes. I imagine they'll probably give him a little buff to his damage and, little nerf to his survivability in the next set of updates to put him a little more in line with other duelists. But maybe they won't. I don't know. Lastly, let's talk about our new strategist, Sue Storm, aka the Invisible Woman. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I am not like some, GM top 500 absolute god tier player, so take my word with a grain of salt, but I think she's in a really good spot on launch. I've used her quite a bit, and she's got good healing output, her damage is pretty solid, she can provide a little bit of utility to her team with her shield and her ult, she has pretty fantastic, no pun intended, survivability with her invisibility. She just feels like a pretty generalist strategist, where she can be helpful in pretty much all team comps, even if she's not the best pick in all team comps. I think this is mainly because, as you can tell from what I just mentioned, her kit is pretty stacked. She's got tons of different abilities and passives for you to play around with, and I think she can be fun for pretty much any playstyle. Honestly, the only real problem I think she has is that she does have pretty low range, like with her main attack and her heal, which though I think is a fair trade-off for all the things that she brings to a team. I can't speak on how she's going to play at very high elo or very low elo, but I have fun with her and will definitely add her to my lineup. Okay, well, I do believe that that was everything that we needed to talk about today. I meant to get this video out a little sooner, but I got pretty sick on Sunday before the stream, so I just took the rest of the day to rest. Regardless though, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful, even if you're not a strategist. If you did enjoy it and want to hear more about healing in all our favorite games, then consider subscribing and following me on my socials, linked below, so that you don't miss out on a video or a stream. If all these illnesses going around don't try to take me out again, then I should have a new Elder Scrolls Online video out this Thursday. Finally, I think all I've got left to say is that I've been Doc. Take care of yourselves, be good to others, don't forget to look before jumping into a Doctor Strange portal, and I will catch y'all in the next one.